From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Peace, family. My name is Vicky Dillon for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want you to know that you can watch me here Tuesday through Thursdays, typically 2 p.m. Eastern live, beloved. In addition, I do international commentary as well, so just be on the lookout for those videos, family. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. We have a very interesting broadcast today, family. Now, I am laughing because, dear family, after we who are foundational Black Americans, we who are the Black grassroots, those of us that they consider to be nobodies, those that they mocked, ignored, we're the ones that are responsible for turning the tide, listen closely, for the presidential election, for the Senate, and for the House of Representatives, all of which in one electoral season, the Democrats lost. We don't have to chit-chat and speculate about our effectiveness. The results speak for themselves. Even when they lied leading up to the elections, the proof is in the pudding. Well, family, we are still impacting culture and politics and some more stuff. Talk black to me, somebody. Family, so much so that the agenda, and how many of y'all know there are multiple different agendas that's going on with the ICE raids? Yes? Now, I said the word ICE raids. I just want this is a side note, just parenthetically, I want to say this. When Black folks are arrested, they don't call them raids. They just say that so-and-so, Pookie and them was arrested. That's all they call it. When they use the word raid, they want to enrage you to be outraged for somebody else and normalize your own oppression and the destruction of your own families. Talk black to me, somebody. Now watch this. They are so mad. Oh, useless, dead Black media, who the Democrats love. Oh, useless, dead Black media, who literally cussed us out. How many of y'all know the multiple boule type folks and Black media that cussed us out because we demanded reparations and because we wasn't getting in line with their political agenda? Talk black to me, somebody. How many of you all know that they were so upset with us that they attacked us, they worked to silence us, they lied on us, they targeted us? I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that on the other side of this article. But I want to show you two articles that just recently came out. Are y'all ready for this? Can the team put up the first article right now from the Griot? Family, the Griot is a Black, and I say that with great what's the word I'm using? I'm being condescending. I'm just calling it Black because they Black looking. That's the word I should use. It's a Black looking, talk black to me, somebody, organization. Okay, it's up. Watch this. The headline. This is supposed to be a Black publication, but I call it a Black looking publication because they always pushing different agendas. This very publication, by the way, family, years ago. Y'all ready for this? Block Me. Now, I don't troll these funny looking people, but because of the coverage that I've done on multiple platforms over the years, the griot is so upset with me that they blocked me. Now, what does that tell you when a Black organization that's supposed to represent you blocks one of the alternative Black media voices? It's not about Vicky, it's about silencing you. Well, this headline says what? Joy Reid urges Black Americans to stay engaged amid immigration crackdowns and political fatigue. Y'all, Vicky, please just read. Y'all see the date on this. It says, Joy Reid reminds Black people that things like immigration impact us too, because, quote, when America catches a cold, Black folks catch pneumonia. The article, as we scroll down, goes on to say, as headlines continue to highlight the LA protests and rising tensions around immigration, many in the Black community are asking, is this our fight? Is this our fight to fight? In short, yes. Joyless, that's what I call her. Joyless Reid is telling us, yeah, this is our fight too. This is what the writer of this is saying in so many words. Watch this. But the conversations sparked by these events are valid and shouldn't be dismissed. Since the 2024 elections, the distrust Black communities have felt toward America has intensified. As voter demographics were revealed, the 92% who showed up for collective well-being realized yet again that support isn't always mutual. For many, this realization triggered a retreat from socio-political engagement. This retreat involved unplugging from the news, avoiding social media debates, and tuning out entirely. While they say ignorance is bliss, that expression does not apply to historically marginalized communities in this context. In a conversation with Joy Ann Reid, the griot discussed the internal conflict many Black Americans are facing. Do I lock in or tune out? Now, family, do I need to read any more of this to tell you the problem with the fact that the griot said that they sat down with Joy Ann Reid to discuss the internal conflict many Black Americans are facing, or whether or not they should lock in or tune out to this immigration stuff? Doesn't that tell you everything that you need to know when these funny looking, Black looking media figures, publications, and platforms get together to talk to their failing, losing selves? They said to solve this problem, they want to sit down to see what Joyless has to say. She says, quote, I think number one, we should be informed. Step one is we need to understand what's going on there. It doesn't help you to completely tune out. Reid said, before acknowledging the collective exhaustion many Black people are feeling, quote, I know exhaustion many Black people are feeling. I know there's a temptation when the bad things are happening to just kind of go dark and say, I'm going to watch Tubi. Y'all, I'm trying not to let all the Mississippi come out me. I'm trying to act professional on this here African Diaspora News channel platform. Forgive me. Do y'all hear this foolishness? This is Joy talking. Quote, let me go back to this quote. I know there's a temptation when the bad things are happening to just kind of go dark and say, I'm going to watch Tubi and I'm not going to pay any attention. I'm going to watch the Housewives and I'm going to forget everything else. You have the right to watch the Housewives and to watch Tubi. You should enjoy your life. But you need to remain informed, because what you don't want is to have these things hit you like you walked into the street and got hit by a Mack truck. She emphasized that these policies, even if they seem to target others first, will eventually affect Black communities, because as the African American proverb goes, because when America catches a cold, Black folks catch pneumonia. It goes on to say how ICE raids are increasing across the country, with law enforcement stopping and detaining those they deem suspicious. This has led to U.S. citizens being detained for days or even weeks while their citizenship is verified. That kind of unchecked enforcement impacts not just Black immigrants, but also Black Americans, especially when immigration status checks are riddled with bias. Family, we can take that article down, team. We're going to get ready to put up the other one here in just a minute, but we can take that one down for now. I'll let you know when to put up the other one. Can y'all see me? Look at me real close. Are y'all looking at the blinkage? Are y'all looking at the blinkage in my eyes right now? Can y'all see the blinkage? Are y'all looking at me? Family? First of all, we should say she is not only Joy Ann Reed or Joyless Reed, as I like to call her. We should also probably call her Jobless Reed. Okay. Now, why is that important? Joy Ann Jobless Reed thought she was the stuff of the stuff of the stuff for the stuff with the stuff of the stuff. When she had that little primetime job on MSNBC. Now, I told y'all long time ago before she was ever fired that she was due to be fired. And a few times when she was supposed to been gone, that's my Mississippi right there. They let her live a little bit because they were firing so many other black folks connected to MSNBC. And right before the election, they knew it was going to look really bad if they went through with their original plans to keep her. Joy Ann Reed, y'all look at me good. When she had that platform before they fired her, she specifically and by name targeted us, you, me. One example, if you go back on this here platform, you will see I covered when Joy Reid was fired, right? Not only me, several of my other colleagues. Shout out to some other platforms that picked up my video, my broadcast I did here. Shout out to my sister Savvy Sabs. She even did it, and she got a resounding response for covering my segment that I did right here on African Diaspora News Channel. Now, y'all know they was big mad, the people that watch some of them. They was like, I know they ain't covering. Yes, they are, baby. Because of the coverage that I did on Joy Reid. Many of you was looking forward to me talking about her because y'all know I've been targeting Joy for many years because she's been targeting us. In that coverage, the team put up a specific chart from 2019 on Joy Reid's show where she specifically had FBA, Foundation of Black America. She had our name spelled out and she had the acronym on there too so that nobody would be confused. And she brought in a so-called expert to target us and to tell her audience basically that we're bots, mocked us, and that we're not to be listened to. Did you hear what I said? She targeted us by name. So no, I didn't cry not one tear about her losing that job. Because she used it to diminish us. And she promoted Hillary Clinton. She promoted Joe Biden. And she promoted every other anti-black establishment individual that you could possibly name. But not only that, who else on that channel, that network? Before her, how many of y'all remember Tiffany Reed? I know it's easy. These people are easily forgettable. I call them the forgettables because I have to really struggle to remember their names. Sometimes I have to Google, like, okay, what's the lady name that used to work at MSNBC? Look, Tiffany Cross, she had that weekend show. I think she was a professor or something at a school before she took that job. Watch this. She started bringing Roland Martin from CNN. But let me fix that. Roland Martin, CNN didn't want him no more. Okay. News One, which I'm finna talk about them in a little bit. I think they had a TV show online. Roland was the main anchor over there, black anchor over there. That's a major black network, baby. They didn't want him no more. Nobody wanted him. Well, Tiffany started bringing him on more on the weekends to talk. Baby, watch that. One of the times she brought Roland on, and anytime you bring him on, you're gonna lose eventually. She, a few weeks later, watch this. She brought him on. They targeted us. Tiffany Cross specifically named our brother Tariq Nasheed and told the audience not to listen to voices like him and us. Did y'all hear what I said right there? And now they don't have jobs. Tiffany don't have a job. Joy don't have a job. I think the previous, they brought in a black president of MSNBC. She's out, I think, now. All the black people just leaving. Watch this. Or being fired. Because once they use you for their agenda, you out of there when they're done with you. So this is one of the things I want to remind you of. So the people that are fired, the people that were ineffective in their jobs, the people that we're not listening to anymore, these are the ones that's sitting here trying to tell us, and that's upset with us, and that's mocking us and trying to give us advice. Now, Joy is mocking us really when she says that you can go watch Tubi and watch The Housewives. Y'all see the shade in that? That's not the only one. Real quick, team, can y'all put up the next article from News One? Y'all look at this headline. Black media, they big mad. Y'all know I'm gonna have to bring y'all receipts. I have to give you receipts to show you how this is not just a one-off. And these are not the only ones, but I'm just giving you a few examples of how they upset, right? Okay, it's up. Y'all see this headline from News One? Now, News One, once again, they're supposed to be a black publication. News One back in the day also had connections to some of the affected boule that was targeting us. And I even speculated at one time years ago that they were, one piece that they did, they did it anonymously, but I know who was behind it, but I'm gonna leave it alone right now. Y'all see this headline? Look at this headline, y'all. Dear black folks, the protests against ICE are absolutely our fight too. Family, they are so out of touch. They are so out of touch, family. Y'all see this? Dear black folks, the protests against ICE are absolutely our fight. Now, when you start reading it, family, hold your horse. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just had to laugh at some parts of this. I'm going to skip around. I want you to really see what they're saying when they quote, trying to call themselves quoting us. Watch this. This is written by Stacey Patton, by the way. It says, as Donald Trump sparks chaos by illegally deploying troops to Los Angeles, as immigration raids intensify, and as protesters are flooding the streets to demand dignity for migrants, far too many black folks are sitting back on social media platforms singing a tired, familiar song. Y'all see how they disrespected us right there? It's being sung off key, with a false sense of safety and a dangerous misunderstanding of how white supremacist violence works. Do you see they said we sitting back on social media singing a tired, familiar song, and then got the nerve to say that the song we singing is off key. Do you see how they're attacking us, dogging us, and disrespecting us right there, family? And they wonder why nobody's listening to them. Y'all can't even write an article showing respect after losing again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It goes on. Watch this. Look at the quotes. She says the chorus of Retreat sounds something like this. Now watch all the stuff that she gonna quote, saying this writer, Miss Patton, talking about she quoting us. She tired of hearing these off-key tropes from us. Quote, black folks need to stay home. Quote, let them handle it. This is their fight. Quote, most Latinos voted for this mess. Quote, ICE don't target us. We got citizenship. Quote, I ain't marching for nobody who won't march for me. Quote, Latinos don't like us anyway. Well, all of those quotes are exactly right. And yeah, hell yeah, we saying that. And we stand by it 1,000%. But listen to what else they say here. But what's really being said underneath all that deflection, they telling us we deflecting by saying that, y'all, is this, quote, if they come for Latinos, I'll be quiet as long as they leave me and mine alone, end quote. The article goes on to say, but if you study history, I mean really study history, then you should already know that they never leave us alone, not for long. I get it. Black folks are tired. We've carried the weight of every major freedom movement in the country. We've bled, we've died, and we've been betrayed. We've shown up over and over only to be met with anti-blackness in return. But this ain't about who like us. It's about who's next. What ICE is doing to immigrants isn't just an immigration issue. It's white supremacist violence at its core. It's separating families. It's state violence. It's stalking and snatching people from homes and workplaces and making them disappear. It's caging children. And for black folks in America, this should all feel deeply familiar. The white supremacist machine of state violence doesn't make distinctions based on citizenship status. Let's stop right there, please. If you don't go sit your shucking and jiving bones and biscuit doggy bone kibbles and bits eating self down somewhere and get out our face, somebody put this hashtag in the chat, uncheckable. to the losing, old, useless, dead black media that can't even keep y'all's jobs on CNN and MSNBC. Simone Sanders, you sold your soul for Joe Biden, thought you was finna be press secretary. You tackled a non-threatening supporter and pretended like you was a Broncos for a day to defend Joe Biden. Broke a nail, which is a sure sign a black woman is out of her mind. Anytime a black woman is willing to break a nail for a white supremacist, baby, you need to be admitted into somebody's something. You need all the medicine and care you can get. No intelligent black woman is about to break their nails for the white supremacists. Real talk. What did we look like shaking our voluptuous bodies around on a stage, a campaign stage, to defend Joe Biden? I don't even know nothing about sports. When I first came up with that analogy years ago, I likened her to a football player and stuff. And so when I was telling one of my supporters, my viewers, I've been talking about this for years. One of my viewers is one of y'all. I was like, y'all help me with these football terms. I said, she up there like a linebacker or something. They was telling me, okay, yes. And so one of them, I'm gonna need the article back up in just 1 second. I'll let you know. And so one of them said, because I was using a football analogy because I don't do sports like that. So I said, look, y'all, y'all help me with this linebacker. And one of y'all said to me, yeah, when Simone got up there to attack that non-violent protester that was protesting Joe Biden years ago when he was running, Simone got up there and she physically removed the lady out the way. I said, what is she being a linebacker for? I thought you're supposed to be a consultant, a political consultant. One of y'all told me we can call that unnecessary rough. Unnecessary rough. Child, if I had a check to give you, I would have. That was the best football term in the whole wide world aside from the linebackage. Talk black to me, somebody. That was unnecessary. We finna penalize Simone Sanders for all of that unnecessary roughness. What is you defending that lady snatching her out the way for Joe Biden? For this white supremacist. Talk black to me, somebody. But I digress. That's a little joke right there. But it was real. For real. She did break her nail. And she did for real, literally, physically handle that lady and snatch her off. And if I had been thinking in advance, I would have asked the team to have that clip ready so that y'all could see her physically do that. That's why everybody keep calling that. Why did I bring up Simone? Simone thought that she was getting ready to be the press secretary. How many of y'all remember that? She worked for Bernie Sanders' campaign. Then she left the progressive side and she started working for Joe Biden. She got a lot of backlash for working with the most racist, left-leaning candidate out there. They end up winning the White House, and she thought that she had a chance in becoming the press secretary. I told her in advance, ma'am, we know what you're trying to do. You would never be that. They're not going to make you the face of America. Y'all, when she didn't get that press secretary job, how many of y'all know that's when Simone left? They put her down there with Kamala to do something in the office with Kamala. She was so upset. How many of y'all remember that? And that's when MSNBC came to her and gave her a little weekend job. Y'all remember that? I'm bringing that up to let you all know that whether they work for the Democrats, whether they own the Biden campaign like she was, whether they work for one of the Democrat outlets, baby, they losing and they jobless. So no, we're not listening to you. And how dare you sit here and mock us when the advice y'all gave us proved to be ineffective. You're lost. The people that listen to those of us right here on this network, African Diaspora News Channel, and voices like mine, Brother Phil, and so forth and so on, baby, they're the ones that showed to be the ones that the average man and woman, the grassroots, were listening to. And they continue to double down on the disrespect is what I'm trying to show y'all. The fact that Joy would sit there and tell us that we need to study and to stop disengaging. Let me tell y'all something. We haven't disengaged. They're listening to us. You see how they still pretending like we don't exist? You're mad that the average man and woman is starting to listen. We ain't disengaged. Everything that we did, we intended to do. That was a political strategy. How many of y'all know that abstention is a political strategy for a time? And that's what they're mad about. And they're sitting here trying to figure out a way to come back and win, and they still losing. Let's put the article up real quick, and I'm almost done. I'm gonna read just a little bit more, okay? Watch what she says here. Go back to the part where I was saying here. What does it say? It says what ICE is doing to migrants isn't just an immigration issue. It's a white supremacist violence at its core. We know that, ma'am, which is why we said, why should we jump on the bandwagon when you all recognize that this is what it was when they was attacking us? But we didn't see this kind of energy on behalf of foundational Black Americans, did we, family? We're literally seeing Congress people come out saying that they're willing to go to jail to defend criminal migrants that came over here, but you have never seen them say that they're going to put their career on the line and willing to go to jail to make sure we get reparations. They're sitting here like this article said. What did she say in the article? She said, it's separating families. We know that, silly. You can keep them together back at home from which you fled, the place from which you fled. That's why they say they're deporting all y'all to make sure that the families don't be separated. Now, this is one of the things I want to tell you all out there that's sitting up here having all this sympathy and empathy for criminals. When they held a hearing about the current immigration czar, was it AOC out? Yeah, it was AOC. She sat up here and tried to cry a river for her people, trying to tell him about how this is going to separate families. And you know what he said to her? And this is what I want all y'all to remember. Of course, I've been saying this, but I want you to just remind y'all of something in case you start tearing up. He said, ma'am, I used to be a police officer or in law enforcement before he started this ICE stuff. He said every time he had to make an arrest, he had to separate a family. Let me hit the gavel on that. Every time they arrest Black families, they destroy us. Didn't nobody cry like this? And in our case, those of us that are responsible for creating America, the U.S. government is complicit in our undoing. The U.S. government committed crimes to get us trapped in crimes. The U.S. government flooded our community with drugs. The U.S. government intentionally did what they did to us. We didn't get this kind of energy. What the hell we look like sit up here talking about it's separating their families and talking about this is an issue of white supremacy. We're saying it is always white supremacy at work, which is why y'all need to get behind us to make sure we get justice first before we ever discuss this. It is a spit in our face for us to prioritize the well-being of somebody else over some people that violated the law to get here. If you have missed my past 2 broadcasts, I'm done with the article now. My time is up. I got to go. You need to watch my past 2 broadcasts that I did live here on this immigration stuff. Because I'm quoting the great Dr. Claude Anderson from his book, Powernomics, where Dr. Claude Anderson, who worked for the Jimmy Carter administration, so he knows. He reminded us that both in the 19th and 20th century, he said, historically, Black leaders always urged the federal government not to allow too many immigrants in until Black folks got justice. He said it was only until the civil rights movement in the 60s that Black leaders turned against us and start focusing not just on Black folks' justice, but on justice for all so-called oppressed people. And he said they didn't stop there. He said they not only stopped trying to dissuade them from pushing immigration, but he said we're the ones that started to embrace it. He said it was always our history to put us first. So all the stuff you see the Joy Reid's doing, all the stuff you see the News One doing, all the stuff you see in all the old, useless, dead Black media that ain't none of us listen to no way doing now, remember they're the ones that are stabbing us in the back. And those are the ones like one of the other ones that I discussed before that's taking side deals behind the scenes from the Democrat Party for biscuits for just for them. They're not concerned about the overall well-being of us, but we are. So we're going to say to the enemies of Black folks and old dead Black media, as you were, we're not listening to you. It's a new day. My name is Vicky Dilla, beloved. Of course, I'm probably going to do another part of this later on, beloved, but make sure that you stay tuned in. Be sure to support my other colleagues. Brother Phil should be on live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't you miss it. Don't forget, I'm typically here Tuesday through Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. My name is Vicky Dillon, and I can't wait to